Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Opportunity Zone. I got him in time. We got Mr. Chris Slavin.
Yay, I made it back. Had a little scheduling hiccup today.
And you got Nate here. We're going to go through a heck of a show. Chris got double booked today. He was featured for a big podcast, and he still made it back on time for the Opportunity Zone so he can deliver the real estate news for you today. Okay. A few big things that are happening. Number one, we had Mr. Bill Ackman at the White House, spotted. Remember, this man owns 10% of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and he was in meeting with the Trump administration. We'll
Wonder what he wants to happen.
So we'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about which United States cities are seeing rental declines. So literally their rent amount year over year has come down in 2026. Okay. If you are a real estate investor or you're considering investing in real estate, you don't want to miss that. Plus you got a little bit more. There was a huge plunge in profits for home flippers.
Yes.
I know you're not a flipper, Chris.
I am not, and there's a reason for that.
Several big reasons for that.
Yeah.
And then also, guys, we do have a deal. A lot of people have been asking us, when's the next deal? When's it coming? We do have a deal. So we'll release a little bit of details of that today on the show. And then tomorrow we're going to be doing a really big deal launch on that on-site at that property. All right, Chris, I got a proverb for us. If you could bless us after that, and then we'll jump in. So the proverb today, it's 10:13. It goes like this: wise words come from the lips of people with understanding, but those lacking sense will be beaten with a rod. This is tough language, isn't it?
Keep going.
Wise people treasure knowledge, but the babbling of a fool invites disaster.
I was talking about this yesterday on that other show.
Chris, what does it mean in layman's terms?
It means that people with experience and people who've got true wisdom speak the truth. But quite often, population, especially in social media today, and this is how it applies today, people are just talking to create controversy, to be spectacles, to get attention. And that's what happens is they talk, people list them, believe them as gospel truth, follow them, and they don't know what they're talking about, and you end up in trouble. And that reminds me of one of my latest videos that went viral. I don't know if you want to expand on that one or not.
Yeah, which one? Because you had
All right,
you
so
had three in the last week.
Yeah, well, I had the one where people were saying, "Oh, this guy's talking about income tax fraud and all this stuff," and I talked about a technique that we used prior to 2008. And every supposed tax lawyer in the world come out and said it was fraud, it was this, and it was that. The reality is they really had no idea what they were talking about. I would never commit fraud. I would never do anything to commit fraud. But there was a tax law that was available in 2008, or an exception or a loophole, that allowed you to use non-recourse loans to default in surrender a title or a deed in lieu of foreclosure that you weren't tapped income. You didn't have to declare it as income. A very small loophole that lasted for about 4 years in the tax code, and everybody was saying, "Oh, it's income tax fraud." But then, once I put the IRS tax code up from 2008, all of a sudden people got real stupid. Now, if people believe those people that didn't know what they were talking about, think about the consequences of that. So seek wise counsel at the end of the day, and for me, the counsel that I always seek is heavenly. So I know I'm being led in the right direction.
Speaking of heavenly, Chris, would you
do it?
Yeah.
Heavenly Father, first and foremost, I'd like to extend and express my gratitude for who you are in my life and for what you are in my life. As a result of following you, my life is amazing and peaceful and beautiful and empowered and just a blessing on a day-to-day basis. And I want to thank you for that. I ask that you please put your hand on the conversation that Nate and I have today, so that we can extend some wisdom to the people that are listening, so that they can go out and have fruitful lives and invest wisely and generate a foundation for them to live their lives on. I ask all of this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Chris, I was going to tell you as well, Sam, who's a student and soon to be partner on a deal that we're taking, he's actually out praying right now at a place where his mentor was buried.
Oh, wow.
And he wanted to let you know that, like, he's spending today just praying for the success of this deal.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
So Next up, I want to jump
Can,
right.
can, can
Yeah,
I can I
yeah, please.
just say one more thing? So we very spiritual people. We talk about our Christianity, and that's a beautiful thing. But I want to express that Sam is an amazing guy, and he's not Christian, but he is a man of God, and he's Jewish, and he's got a beautiful heart. So we're just spiritual people, and we believe that we believe in the God that we believe in, and we hope that you have a God to believe in because if you don't have something to believe in, you fall for anything. That's all. Sorry.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, guys. First off, we have rental prices dropping in select cities in 2026. I'm going to browse through these, and Chris, you can kind of give us commentary on this. But number one on the list, almost double-digit drops, Cape Coral, Florida.
Yeah, but that's funny because when it was on the rise I guess about a year now, right? There was a deal, and the guy was selling it was hard, and how it's beautiful, and this and that, and I was like, Cape Coral, man, something doesn't feel good. And then we've got a personal experience with a condo over there that we're struggling to get rented. And we just, we dodged a bullet on that one. And thank goodness. I mean, look, it's pulled back pretty hard. What did it say, 9.2%?
Yeah, 9.2% leads
Wow.
the country in dips. So,
Wow.
and if you're in the multifamily game, what that means is that you're dropping your top line income by almost 10%. That
Yeah.
means it drops the value of the property because valuation of multifamily is based on the net income.
Yeah.
So when income's dropping, value's dropping.
Value drops hard.
And it's followed up by Northport, Sarasota. So that's just up the coast from Cape Coral, a little bit further north. And then it jumps over to Austin, down almost 6%. Then you got a couple Colorado cities right in the middle.
I was shocked about the Colorado, but okay.
Yeah.
Denver even.
And San Antonio rounds in the mid fours.
That's predictable. I'm surprised Houston's not on that list.
No Houston, not yet.
Not yet.
Tucson, Lakeland, Florida, and then Phoenix is at the bottom. And then on the other side, for increases, watch this, guys.
This is a shock to me.
Jackson, Mississippi.
Jackson, Mississippi.
Why is that a shock to you, Chris?
Because of the maybe it isn't because of the insurance rates, right? Like so, it's a tough market to be in. So maybe because of the higher insurance rates, that's lifting rents. I'm sure it's not lifting profits, but it's probably lifting rents.
Yeah, this is not net. This is gross.
This is gross rent.
Top line rental. You got Chicago on this top 10 list. You got Lexington, Kentucky, where we've got property.
Yes, sir.
And then St. Louis, Missouri on the top 10.
I want to point out that we only have a few properties on the growing list, but we got no properties on the shrinking list.
Zero. Zero. Yes.
Not a property in any of those markets, but we do have several in the other markets.
All right, except for the condo that you mentioned
Yeah,
earlier.
well, that's a personal thing.
That was a personal house. I used to live there. Okay, next up, you've got Bill Ackman, who owns Pershing Square, large hedge fund out of New York. He has about 10% interest between Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, so probably the largest single investment into those two companies. And he was seen meeting with the Trump administration this week.
Yeah, I wonder what he's up to there.
What is he up to, Chris?
I don't know. Maybe he wants to get another public offering going. What do you think?
It's funny. They call it IPO.
I don't know why.
They say IPO, initial public offering for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, could come this year.
But it's already been eyed.
So for 12-year-old terms, Bianco's turned 12.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, I know. So 12-year-old terms, that essentially means that this company already went public, but when you say IPO, it means initial public offering.
Right.
But they're planning on taking Fannie and Freddie out of government conservatorship and releasing it back as another initial public offering, but it won't be initial. So what are they going to call it?
Just an offering, another public offering, another round of funding. But I'm wondering, like, it's readily available. Like, I don't understand. I really, and I probably need to do some research. I'm being ignorant right now, and I said I wasn't going to talk about this because I'm a little ignorant about it, but here I am talking about it. So there's going to be another offering, and they're going to push it out there and take it public. Unless, does the government own a chunk of the stock of the companies?
Well,
And that's how it controls it.
the government does right now.
So then what they're going to do is they're going to sell off their shares.
The government in 2008, in the middle of the meltdown, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac were going to go bankrupt.
Yeah.
And so they injected $200 billion.
Yeah, but did they inject it or did they buy stock and put it into conservatorship? I don't remember. I'm sorry.
They own stock in conservatorship.
All right.
Conservatorship.
So that must be what they're going to do. They're going to sell their stock. and give the general public. Man, I don't know. Listen, I don't give stock advice. I generally don't trade in the stock market. I got a little account that I mess around with sometimes when I feel lucky, like Dirty Harry lucky. And I bought a significant portion on the bounce of both Freddie and Fannie, like a lot. And it was up 7% yesterday or something, 6.5%. So I did very well. But I don't know how this is going to happen or how this is going to play out. This is going to be interesting because you release all that stock into the market. What happens?
Yeah. Well, we won't get into speculation. Let's see what happens. But
Unless you got a big bank to underwrite it. Anyways,
they are
that's so weird.
they're saying it could be the biggest offering of the year.
Right, but so who's going to underwrite it and how they going to underwrite it? Because we're talking about Freddie and that. Listen, I'm going down a rabbit hole right now. Listen, I'll research this tonight at 2 o'clock in the morning when the house is quiet.
Something to watch, guys. And the reason is because it influences every rate on everything. So like all the loans for multifamily, 3/4 of them come between Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Right, but I think that getting rid of the conservatorship is absolutely essential, right? Because essentially, right now, when Freddie and Fannie operate the same, like, as a matter of fact, their terms or their names are used interchangeably. It's a Freddie or Fannie loan, right? I think it'll create some. I think once they're driven by shareholders. I think it'll create some competition in the market, and we'll see some changes in pricing. Yeah.
It's interesting. So they put in that 200 billion. They actually got 300 billion back in dividends since they made that investment. So they've been made whole, so to speak. And so part of the pitch that Mr. Ackman had was, well, the government's already been made whole, so really you guys could sell this for less. And he was trying to.
Yeah, he's trying to scoop it up and be controlling interest. Yeah, go away, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, next up. So this is New York specifically, and I'm bringing New York up because this is just it's a national thing, but it's a New York specific thing. Okay, let me explain. There's an appellate court that basically just rejected a lawsuit against a landlord who was refusing Section 8 housing vouchers. So this guy back in 2022, he gets hit by.
It's a law. They changed the law, not just a lawsuit.
Well, he got hit by Liletta James. This is the same one that went after Trump. Letitia, sorry.
Yeah.
Letitia James. And she's basically said, hey, you refusing to take Section 8, that's against the law. And
well, lucky.
And he said, no, it's not. I can refuse it. And the lower courts, they agreed with her, not him. So he appealed it. And now the appellate court just said, you know what? You were wrong, Miss James. And so this is a huge victory in New York because I would have thought in New York they would have stuck to their guns and kind of went with, pro-tenant all the way.
Socialistic, yeah.
Socialistic, but they did not. In this case, they rejected it. What do you think on this?
What do I think on this? I'm going to talk a little bit more in the abstract. I think there's so much damage being done right now in New York. This is like, a drop in the bucket or a drop in the ocean, really, with what's going on up there. It's so landlord unfriendly. This is too little too late, right? It's just too little too late. And this was obviously set in motion before the current regime was empowered. A lot more changes have to happen there. And this still doesn't motivate me to buy anything in New York.
Yeah, no buying in New York. And the reason that we won't is because we like to have predictable returns for investors.
Yeah. We have people we're responsible to, and we have to return their investment. And like this is crazy up there. It's like the Wild West almost.
We were invited yesterday to take a deal in Virginia, which 6 months ago it actually looked pretty good.
Yeah.
But now with what has happened in Virginia just in the last 4 months, they literally crammed through so many laws that are pro-tenant and anti-landlord. It's a no-fly zone for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we won't do states like that. All right, Chris, next up, home profit flipping is plunging. It's the lowest it's been since the Great Recession. So before I unveil the cities that there's slim margins in, why is home profit flipping plunging? Like, what is it about that?
Because rates are through the roof. People can't afford to buy houses. And in like the unicorn places, like everybody wants to live in Florida, there's no real meat left on the bone once you purchase a property that needs to be flipped. And yeah, it's not happening. Now, what is big in Florida right now is not flipping, like leveling and building 2 houses, waterfront stuff like that. But flipping is it's tough. I'm not a flipper. I never have been, and the reason is you're like a rat on a wheel. You're invested in one property and doing that property. When that property's done, you get paid, and then that's it. You're done. You don't get any residual income. That's just a job. I already got one of those.
Same as wholesaling.
Yeah.
You're running the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you do want to flip houses, which we're not proponents of, but Peoria, Illinois was #1 in the country for margins. So that's an interesting little tiny submarket outside of Chicago, but Peoria, Illinois. All right, next up, commercial real estate is starting to become the crown jewel again. I won't bore you with all the antics of this dry article, but this is an important report that just came out from Principal Asset Management Group. And what they're saying in here is basically people are abandoning private credit funds and they're moving over to commercial real estate.
They have to.
Why?
Because private credit funds are experiencing the same thing that general banking and the general credit across everywhere is. Its defaults are going up, and if defaults go up, these funds mostly don't have the ability to operate properties like private or even public banks do. Large big banks, they can at least go in and operate. These funds don't have that ability. They don't specialize in this, so they're getting stuck. And when they get stuck and their money doesn't come back, that declining returns to their investors. So because it's so risky right now, they're jumping ship, going to dirt and buildings and stuff that's hard assets, and go in there where it's more predictable and safer.
Chris, you also mentioned earlier that the private credit funds, from a tax structure standpoint.
Oh, that's right. I forgot all about that. Private credit funds don't have the tax benefits that real estate do. There's no depreciation back to a credit fund on the asset. So right now, we've got a property that we're leveraging that we're literally giving back up to 100% of whatever our investors put in. So you put in $1 million, we can give you up to $1 million in depreciation on your K1. So that will offset all of your other passive income, and if you're taxed properly, it will actually can be used against your W-2 income if you're in the right scenario. So you could end up not paying taxes this year as a result of being involved in real estate. You don't get that with a credit fund.
Mm-hmm. So, and I also
To
read,
the best of my knowledge,
no legal or tax advice here.
None. This is just stuff that I know in my experience.
All right, next up, Chris, we've got Memphis. I know we've reported on this, but now we get to see some official stats. President Trump sent in the Memphis Safe Task Force, and they're saying, here's the stats. They arrested 7,400 people. They took away 1,200 plus illegal firearms. They rescued 150
That's
kids.
the most beautiful statistic right there. 150 missing children were safely located and brought back to their families.
Yes.
Child trafficking. Listen, God just keeps blessing us. I don't know what this is about and why we're so fortunate, but we literally bought a property at the bottom of the Memphis values as a result of this kind of thing going on, and now it's cleaned up and the value of that property is coming up, and we're just working through that business plan, and that turned out to be another amazing blessing. Beautiful property, just Memphis, right? Tough neighborhood. But now we'll soon be walking in Memphis. No, I'm not going to sing for you.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We just needed some of that crime to be cleaned out. And so
Exactly.
Thank you for this administration taking charge and doing it. Speaking of this administration,
This is shady, man.
So Mr. Swalwell, I hope I say his name right, Eric, he's a governor candidate right now over in Democratic state of California. He was actually pinched by Bill Pulte, and they caught him filling out mortgage applications claiming he was going to live in a residence, but turns out that he's actually living in it. And so they filed a suit against him.
That's right. Another government official claiming they have a primary residence that they're not living in. Imagine that. And then, but listen, that's not even the best part of the story.
Well, his lawsuit.
Keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So wait a minute. I'm a criminal. You caught me. I'm doing wrong. You caught me. So what do I do now?
So he files a lawsuit against the Trump administration's
For selective prosecution.
Yes, trying to say, hey, basically, you politically persecuted me, so this is wrong. And then 4 months later, he drops the lawsuit.
Well, okay, so I got two things to say about that. Let's talk about, all right, let's not talk about that. I think that there were picture service of this guy associated with the wrong people, and then all of a sudden he went quiet. They got something on him, and they made him hush up and go away. But the reality is he has no legal basis for a lawsuit. He broke the law, got caught, and now he's suing. Well, you caught me doing it, but you were, what? You, like, literally, you broke the law, and that's it. Remember what we impeached Clinton for? Do you remember what we impeached Clinton for?
I
Immoral acts with an intern. You know what they were going after Clinton for?
what?
Real estate dealings, Whitewater.
Oh, that's where it started.
Yeah, that's where it started. And then Kenneth Starr got him on lying to Congress over whether or not he had a sexual interaction with an intern. And we still prosecuted him. So guess what, buddy? You were wrong. You got caught. Own up to it.
So let's see where this goes next. So
I know where it goes next. Nowhere.
he dropped his political persecution lawsuit, but the charges against him on him fraudulently taking out a mortgage as an owner occupant still exist.
Good. See you in jail, buddy.
All right, Chris, this one is a really fun one. This is the official list from Architectural Digest of the 33 best places to live in the United States of America. And I want to point out number one, because guys, anywhere that tenants or people in general are moving, when you have people moving to an area that generally it's supply and demand, when you can have more people moving in, you can usually bump rents up. And so when you've got that going on, it can usually help value your properties for more. And so number one on the list, Chris, I'll let you take this one. I'll just scroll to it right here. In Georgia, right next to Atlanta.
Johns Creek, Georgia. You know what Johns Creek, Georgia is next to? Tucker, Georgia. Or Stone Mountain, Georgia. You know why that's important? I can't tell you right now, but I will in a little bit.
You know what? Go ahead, tell them.
All right. So, you know what? No, wait. Before we go on to this deal, I really want you to put up that. Listen, we started this conversation with God is good all the time, and this is a beautiful story, completely unrelated, but it touched my friend's heart here, and I think we want to share it. Go ahead, share the story.
All right, so we had a clean sweep in the Olympics for hockey in Italy this year, and one of the most underreported stories was this one. So this is the Paralympics, folks that don't have legs in most cases. They ride a sled, they play hockey. Beautiful story. The gentleman on the right-hand side, 19-year-old, he led the team and scored some of the most critical goals. He was actually born in China, and he was tossed away essentially. And he
thrown away. Yep.
Thankfully, there was an orphanage that picked him up and held on to him while a U.S. family from North Carolina was able to adopt him. So by age 3, he was brought to America. His family just loved on him, and he was born without legs, below the knees. And his family loved on him, treated him the way that a kid should be treated. And now this kid grew up into a hockey star, and led the team to the gold.
That's near and dear to my heart, as you know. I mean, you know that my story. I was thrown away. I had a time in my life too, and was living behind a dumpster. But anyways, back to
why we bring up Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia, a suburb of it, hit number 1 in the country for best places to live, and it just so happens that
we are in the middle of an amazing deal right now in just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, less than 20 miles from Johns Creek, and that's a little sneak peek at it. And the reason we're giving you a sneak peek is because it's not official. We're going to be doing a deal launch tomorrow. But listen, this is already filling up. It's already filling up. If you are not on our wait list, shame on you. Listen, you've got to go to homeinvest.com /
waitlist. Waitlist.
/waitlist in order to get on our wait list. But the deal that's brewing right now is an absolutely amazing deal. It's a little bit complicated, but basically here's what's going on. We're rescuing the deal. We're going in there and we're getting at like 60% of the price, 60% of the value of the building, of the property, because of the situation with management is just bad. And as a result, we're going to have amazing returns on this. As a matter of fact, we will have up to 25% IRR. and we are capping it at 25% IRR, and I'll get back to that in a minute. And we will have up to 100% depreciation on the K1 for people up to their basis. So if you put in $1 million, we'll get up to $1 million in depreciation on your K1. Why are all these stats important? The reason is this. This is truly a mission for us from God. We have the ability to rescue this property and take it over and get it right, set it right by doing some capital investment in it. What was going on was there was actually an offer, an accepted offer, or close to being accepted. They were like a minute away from signing the PSA, of an offer for about $10 million more than we're acquiring this property for. And the reason it was that is because that would have covered the existing debt and their early payment penalties, and they would have basically been able to walk away from it. We're going in, we're rescuing this property, and we're actually taking along the current investors. A lot of mom and pops that have used their 401k money to invest in this property. We're taking them with us. So we're capping the investment or the returns at 25% IRR and giving a cap of 100% depreciation, because anything over that, we're going to give back to the people who would have lost everything as a result. Nate and I aren't going to be making the amount of money that we should be making on this deal, but we're going to be making amazing profits for our investors. I mean, 25% IRR, up to 25% IRR is insane. And that's, you know, being really conservative. And we're giving the depreciation so that you don't have to pay taxes on whatever money you put in if you're properly structured tax-wise. And we're keeping some people from being homeless, not homeless, but, you know, losing their nest egg and returning to them. And as many of you know, I care a lot about my investors, and I care a lot about people who trust other people and it not working out. So that's why we're doing this. We believe God wants us to do this. We believe it's benefit our investors. It'll benefit our whole portfolio. And gosh, it's just the right thing to do.
So in the comments, if you just put the word deal, DEAL, our team will send you over the link. We'll reply to your comment and get you hooked up with it. And then we could get you included inside of our wait list. So then you'll see the deal as it unfolds. Tomorrow on
right?
site.
On the wait list, you can't see it because the PPM's not quite ready yet.
We actually have, so there's 25 plus team members that are going to be on site tomorrow, waiting for Chris to show up. This will be the first time that a lot of them have met him. And so it'd be really cool. We're going to kick the deal off right with them.
And unbeknownst to some of them, it's going to be the last time they meet me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It's terrible, terrible. All right, Chris, anything you want to close out with?
No, listen, look at the things that God is doing to us. It's absolutely amazing. And all of the glory on these types of things, the impact and the positive stuff that we're doing and the way that we're affecting people in a positive way, all of that glory belongs to God. We're just a couple of wretches getting through life and trying to do the right thing. And to watch God do these miracles, or have these miracles unfold of us as a result of God's actions is absolutely amazing. And I know one thing for a fact, God can do this for you too. God doesn't love you any more than he loves me, and he doesn't love me any more than he loves you. And he's willing to bless you, and as long as you do the next right thing and follow him in your life rather than your own will, it's amazing the things that can happen. So God bless you all. Thank you for being here. If you're not here, we have nobody to share this knowledge and wisdom with. God bless y'all.
Bye, guys.
See ya.